TTL Computer 2. Today is going to be our first attempt at reading and writing to our brand new IDE compact flash card. And as you can see on the little pop-up image there that we have our green power light indicator on our flash card. We have the yellow card detect light is on, and the red LED in the middle is the activity light, and that is off right now. But that's all looking good, and we are all set to do our first test. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is now load our test program. We'll load that, hex load that, cf.hex, and that's up and going. Okay, so that should load in a second. And then what we're going to want to do is, as we did in our digital simulation, is we're going to want to clean out the file table area and make sure that's filled with zeros, since it probably has garbage in it right now, just from the startup process. Okay, I'll let this finish and then I'll be back. Okay, and we're back, and that's all hex loaded. Okay, so let's take and do and clear out the file table area, FC00, and again, 100 bytes, hex, oops, no, we don't want that. FC00, our fill is 0, and 100 bytes. Okay, and that's done. Let's just look at that, hex dump that. That's good. All right, so directory 0, directory 1, empty. Okay, so we're ready to run this, and let's see what we get. Okay, go 8,000, and here we go. I'll watch for the activity light on the compact flash drive. And I'm not seeing an activity light on the compact flash drive. So that's not looking good. Okay, so we're back, and it's been a week or more since our first attempt at reading and writing to our compact flash card. But we are all good and ready to go for our second attempt. And at the end of the video, I'll talk about what I did to have to get to this point to be ready to do the second attempt. But we'll do that at the tail end of the video if that's of interest to you. Okay, so we are ready to load up our test program again. And let's send that up. And that is going. Okay, so that is loaded. So the next thing that we have to do is we need to clear out the file control table. That's at FC00. Fill that with zeros. 100 bytes should be sufficient. Let's just look at that. That looks good. Directory 0, that's our read-only. Directory 1 is our flash file system, and that's empty. Okay, so now we are good to go for our retest. So just as a quick recap, so our file directory table is clear in memory right now, is empty, and our test program is going to write a templated directory to the flash drive, and then it's going to read that record back out of the flash drive and load it into our file directory table. So if this is successful, after we do the run, we should see the regression program in there. But here we are going for our second attempt. We're going to go 8,000, and you can watch for the activity light in the little inset video. Here we go. And we saw our activity light. That looks good. And our program returned. So that looks good. So we are ready to see if that worked. Again, directory 0. And here we go. Directory number one for our flash file system. And there we go. We have written our first record to the flash drive, and we've read that out successfully and loaded that into our file directory table. That's it. So that's a good test, and that's a green light. We're green lighted to go, and for me to do the rest of my coding work, which is going to be quite a bit of coding work left to do. So I'll have to add to the file system the ability to store a file uh, to the flash and to actually read the file from the flash and load it into memory. So I've got a bunch of work to do there. But hey, really feeling good about where we're at right now. And it was again pulled back from the brink and got back on track. All right, so I'm going to just talk through a little bit what happened after the last test. So if you saw the post on my community pages, you know that I made the comment about these flashcards being uh, of questionable build quality, and I knew that going in. And like when we did our first attempt, I determined that the LEDs were installed incorrectly on the card backwards. So I repaired that for the first card, and our first card, read and write failed. So now I knew the build quality of these cards was questionable, so I ordered multiple when I ordered them. So I had some extras, and when I picked that first card, I visually inspected them and picked what looked like to be the best card, and that's what we used for the first test. But that failed. So I didn't know if the issue was with the card or if it was with our IDE card that we built or an issue with my software. But the software looked to be working good, but the card didn't look to be operating. I never saw the activity light go on, and my little ad hoc testing with the card didn't seem to be working too well. So I didn't know if the card was working it or not. So I made the decision to use the card and install it in its intended purpose. And its intended purpose is to be a hard drive replacement in a retro computer. So that's what I was going to do. I wanted to prove out that the card I was using worked correctly, and it's in intended behavior, intended use before I even tried it again in TTL Computer 2. So that took me like a week or more to do that. So went down a rabbit hole. I had to use an old Windows 98 machine I had, and pulled out the hard drive connections. I had to order a special Molex power connector so I could power the card once I installed it. I also I needed to get some DOS diskettes because I needed to, attempt to, format the drive and install some files on it to make sure it was working correctly. So that was a rabbit hole I had to go down and to do all that. But I got that all completed and got the thing installed in my Windows 98 machine. And lo and behold, tried to boot up from it, tried to access the drive, and it just wasn't working. Never saw the activity light work. Same thing that happened in TTL Computer 2. So that card looked like that I used, right? 1 out of 4. And I picked the best looking one, and it was dead on arrival, apparently. So I picked the next best looking card out of the 3 that I had. And I wasn't going to do anything with the LEDs. The LEDs were also installed backwards on the other card, but I installed that into my Windows 98 and attempted to get that going. And lo and behold, I was able to get that card all working in my Windows 98 computer, albeit without the LEDs. So after proving that it was working there, so I desoldered and soldered in, 3 new LEDs the correct way. So hopefully the card was good. And I plugged that back into uh, the testing jig, and I got the power indicator. I got the flash card detect was lit, so it all looked good. And that got me to the point that you saw today, where I plugged that back into TTL computer too. And now we have a good and working IDE flash card. So yeah, that was a bit of a roundabout way to get that done and tested, but yeah, those flash cards are, like I said, of questionable quality, build quality. But in the end, I think we got to where we needed to be. So, like I said, I'm at the point now where we're going to have to do quite a bit of code to get back to implementing the rest of the file read and write code for our flash file system. But that's it for today. Until next time, thanks for watching.